Polynomial operations, the basics. This unit we're talking about polynomials. Polynomial just means many, so we need to look at the prefixes of the word. So starting with the monomial. The prefix mono means one. So a monomial would just have one term. And it might look like 6x. It might look like 3. It might look like 2y to the second power. A binomial has two terms. So taking two monomials and putting them together with an operational symbol. So 6x plus 3 is now a binomial. 3 plus 2y squared is a binomial. And again, here we see tri, which means 3. So a trinomial could be 6x plus 3 plus 2y to the second power. The prefix poly means many. You'll run into poly again when you take geometry. Polynomial just has many terms. So I could write 3x to the fourth power plus 2x cubed minus 4y plus 7, and I would have a polynomial. Polynomials have different parts that we need to be able to identify. So for example, if I give you 3y to the third power minus 4y to the fourth power plus 6y, I need to be able to identify different types of parts of this. So in looking, the first thing I look for are the idea of exponents. We have exponents here at 3 and there at 4. So you've seen exponents before, that's not new. We also have, and again this is not new, you heard it a lot first semester, the idea of a coefficient. The coefficient is the letter with the variable. So we have coefficients at 3, at -4, and at 6. The other pieces we have in here would be the idea of what's called a term. Each part of the polynomial is a term. So 6y is a term. -4y to the fourth is a term. 3y cubed is a term. So this is how the parts and the terms work. The other thing we need to be able to identify in a polynomial is the idea of its degree. Degree is the value of the largest exponent. So in our polynomial here, the largest exponent is the 4, so this polynomial has a degree of 4. Now I'm going to let you practice doing some identification pieces. One of the last things we need to look at is the idea of what's called standard form. When we work with polynomials, we want to put them in a particular order. So if I get the polynomial 3y cubed minus 4y to the fourth plus 6y, this is not in standard form. Standard form says start with the term with the largest exponent. In our case, this would be this term, and that needs to go first. Then we start putting the terms in order of descending or decreasing exponent power. So our next one has 3y cubed, so that will be the next term to make standard form. Finally, we're going to end with 6y. This is now in standard form. I'm going to give you a minute or two to practice with standard form. In conclusion, remember that there's some important vocabulary here. We talked about the idea of polynomials. You need to understand what a term is, variable, which you've worked with all year, the idea of a coefficient. We talked about the degree, and talked about and practiced with standard form.